Welcome to the Ace Podcast, where we talk all things art, culture, and entertainment, but more specifically, pop culture entertainment. I'm your host, Will, the greatest, and it's just going to be me. Where have I been for the past 2 weeks? Why has there been no show, no guests? There hasn't been 3. It might have been 3 weeks by the time I'm recording this. It's currently the middle of August, and I basically missed most of my shows through July. So, I have had a very, very busy work life because I do have a big boy job. You know, I wish I could do content full time, but that's not the way the ghetto spins. So, I've been very busy working with more people, trying to help more people, doing what I do with my own job. But in the meantime, I did put out like one video on my YouTube channel, which you should go watch if you haven't, if you don't follow me at Will the Greatest on YouTube. Same moniker, same name. We try to keep consistency, brand consistency, player. It's important. But what have I been up to in the past couple weeks? Me and my boy Devin attended BlurredCon in Virginia. It was his first convention ever. I've been going to con since like 2008, so I'm pretty deep in it. So this is like my 13th year. Did 2 new cosplays while I was there. So that was fun. I did Static from Static Shock. I did what did I call them? Finance appropriate Static, because Static was a teenager and didn't have any money. And then I did Dante from Devil May Cry. That was also primarily bought as well, but it was really fun. Made a lot of new friends, followed a lot of people that hopefully at some point I'll be able to have on the show. I need to connect with some of my new friendos that I made there. But I had a great time, honestly. There was a little bit of controversy, which I'll get to later on because I think it's one of the many stories. But as far as what happened, I mean, met up with a lot of friends. Old, new, hung out with people, had fun, turned up at the raves and everything. Got a little lit. Luckily didn't get too sick. I'm glad I had that Monday open because I really needed it to kind of recover. Because I did most of the driving for the trip. Not that my boy didn't ask, he offered. I just said, yeah, I'll do it. So it was no big deal. But yeah, I had fun. Went to parties. Went to a couple panels. Played a lot of games. Spent a little bit of money. I don't know who's calling my house, but I'm not answering it. So we're just gonna let that ring in the background because I don't answer phones in this hoe, and it's weekend, so I especially don't answer phones. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what we did. Did I meet any celebs? Not really. I mean, I met Roxy Hayes. My boy Bar Fox from Cosplayer Way was there. That's a great community, just allowing for open expressive ways for minorities to cosplay. Somebody got married. That was lovely. There was also a proposal. That was also very nice. There was a twerk contest. That was very nice. Yeah, all around just had a blast. It was good to get back. This is my first real big event. Probably since 2019, since everything went into lockdown. I think my last con that I went to was actually San Diego. But I went to Blurred that month as well. So being able to come back and just be in that environment, it was all around had a really, really good time. Let's talk about though the controversy. The reason I made an extra video is that and this is old news by the time I'm recording this. So like when it happened, I'm like, let me do this while I have a little bit of free time, which is slowly dwindling away. But there was a cosplay competition. I was actually supposed to meet one of my friends in there, but when I walked in, that was when the wedding was occurring, and they were doing the wedding prior to the winner being announced of the cosplay competition. So what had occurred was, from my perspective, I walked in during the wedding, stayed for the wedding, the nuptials, the kiss, everything. That was very beautiful, very lovely, happy for that couple. And then left. and then came back after the competition was over because I was looking for a friend. What I didn't know is that during the competition, a young white woman had apparently won first place in the competition, and evidently of the 3 years that they've had Blurred, 3 or 4. I know I've only missed 1 year of Blurred. That only one of them has had one black person that's won, and it's optically interesting for Blurred Con, which if you don't know, a blurred is a black nerd. Which, some people don't like the term, just because they think it sounds weird. But I mean, I've always been impartial to it. I thought it was fine. I mean, the first time I ever heard it was in a fucking Childish Gambino song. Shout out to my blurreds, they represent the realness. Shout outs to Gambino girls. This dick is in the building. But yeah, so that kind of stirred the pot for about a week, and it didn't help when one of the, I believe, 4 judges, my buddy Barfox was actually one of the judges, but I don't think he made a comment. One of the other judges, Dax exclamation point, made a comment. The CEO of Blurred Con had to come out and make a public statement. So there's been a lot of kind of behind the scenes chatter. The first place winner actually wound up stepping down and passed on the actual prize and all of that to the runner up, who was a black woman, very very talented. I actually saw her and her sister. I got a picture of them on the show hall. Didn't know anything about them, but like the quality. I mean, the quality of first place winner's costume was good, but seeing the level of like talent that the runner up had, as well as some of the other members of the competition, was really like, I guess, surprising. Um, the runner up did a fantastic job with all of her costumes, because her and her 2 sisters, I believe, were all cosplaying, and they did Tifa, Aerith, and Yuffie from Final Fantasy VII, and she I think hand sewed them all, and I'm like, holy shit! I thought they were bought, but no, they're just that damn good. She's that damn good, and she's a North Carolinian, so that makes me really excited. I'm like, yeah, North Carolina represent, stand up, gang gang. So she's the present winner. Congrats to her. I wish I knew her name. I could probably pull it up, but is what it is. But yeah, I posted my video. Some people called me a segregationist, even though I said I don't know what the answer is. I was just suggesting a couple of ideas and kind of giving my perspective, as well as talking about some of the other ideas I heard. Um, so the only thing I really said was just like, just don't bully the winner. That's not okay. And just it wound up being a continuous, interesting conversation. But yeah, go check out that video. Uh, don't call me a racist, because I'm not one, or do, honestly, because I could just delete it, or I could not care. You can do what you want. It's the internet. I'm out here putting my whole opinion on the internet. You have a right to respond, but I don't have a right to care. Yeah, what else happened? I've been hanging out with friends. Finally finished in my second rewatch of Invincible with them. Moved some beds around. I've kind of been doing my own thing, just focusing on work. And then I went to GalaxyCon. I didn't look at my credit statement. I just paid it off when I got paid recently, because an exorbitant amount of money was spent. Drove some strangers to Cookout, so that was something that happened. Went to a couple panels. Blitzed through at minimum $200 on just like photos. Don't ask me how. One of them I will show in a later video, because it's honestly the main reason I went to the con. I initially was not going to attend GalaxyCon. I had fun. I enjoyed myself. I made new friends. But at the same time, and I busted out the old Miles suit. Just one of these days I'm really gonna fix that, because it has a couple issues in it. But I am overall proud of it. But I do have like a couple minor gripes with my suit that I made. But yeah, overall had fun. Saw a couple friends there. That was nice, that I haven't seen in years, probably since I graduated college and shit. But yeah, you'll see where the money went soon. It was a couple certain guests, and it wasn't Oliver Queen, it wasn't Superman, it wasn't Bitsy Tulloch as Lois Lane. If you know my channel and you know my content and you know the videos that I really tried to put a good amount of effort into last year, uh, you'll know why I went, because I initially wasn't going to go, but then I went, had fun. Now I am trying to financially recover because GalaxyCon is very expensive. Holy shit. Damn. Yeah, don't be dumb like me. And now I remember after Blurred, a bunch of people were going to DreamCon down in Texas. Now, the weekend I'm recording this, a lot of people are at Otakon having a blast. So, congrats to all of those people. I am very, very tired. I love going to cons. I'm just very, very worn out. Been very busy. But with that being said, let's get into news from the big two, Marvel and DC, or more so DC and Warner Brothers. Yeah, let's get into some news. Uh, let's see where to start and where to begin. Do we want to start with DC? Let's start with DC. Or Warner Brothers. We got a bunch of promos for the upcoming movie Dune, which looks fantastic, by the way. As somebody that is very critical of Timothée Chalamet's face, I think the movie looks great. I think the cast is great. I think Denis Villeneuve is very, talented director. I need to actually dig into his projects just because I've heard so many great things about him. I'd love to see him do like a Cyberpunk 2077 movie after hearing the reception to his to Blade Runner 2049. So yeah. Uh the promo photos have been they've just been looking really good. I'm really curious to see the movie. I'll probably watch it in IMAX. That was one of my friends recommended. Dune is such a epic in the sci-fi narrative community, and just like the impact it's had on like creatives is, I know of its legacy more so than of the movie. That and the Sandworms. I think I did a reaction to the trailer actually, the first trailer that they dropped. I am worried about it just because movies in theaters are not doing well box office wise, and I know for a fact that's a very, very expensive movie. um so yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic for it to at least get a part two, because I think it's a two-part story that he's shooting for. I'll probably try and see it in theaters, but no promises on that. Are you gonna see Dune? Let me know. You should. What do you think about the promo for Dune going on right now? What else we got? Leslie Grace cast as Batgirl for HBO Max. That is very interesting. And rumors are coming out that J.K. Simmons is returning as Commissioner Gordon, so this might be set in the Batfleck realm. But yeah, Leslie Grace, if you don't know her, she played, I believe, Vanessa in The Heights. One of the female leads in that movie. I thought she did, a very good job in the film. That's the only thing I have recognized her from. But it seems like we're getting a Batgirl movie from HBO Max. I'm curious to know what design they're going to go with, because I kind of don't want it to be Burnside. I'm not a fan of the Burnside outfit, but if it's, it is interesting. I think that now we're seeing this uptick of Latin and Latin American actors. Oh yeah, there's another one. Is it Cholo Zolo? I have to see how to say his name. But the lead actor from Cobra Kai, the another Latin American actor, has been cast as Jaime Reyes for the Blue Beetle project that's coming from HBO Max, which makes me very excited because I think, I've seen him on Cobra Kai. He's fantastic. Him as Jaime Reyes, that's fucking that's great casting. Leslie Grace, I've only seen her in one project, so I don't know enough about her, but she was good in the movie, so I have high hopes for her. DC's kind of getting a nice little surge of Latin and Latin American actors and actresses, which makes me happy because, if I can be kind of candid, I always thought that Starfire would be a perfect one for like Starfire and Superman. I think would be perfect times to do an exploratory story. with a Latin American character, and I don't know why nobody has explored that. I don't know why Sony hasn't listened to my pitch to do a fucking Anya Corazon movie. But yeah. Anyways, I'm optimistic for Leslie Grace. And we're gonna have a Dominican Batgirl, I think she's Colombian or Brazilian Supergirl. Jaime Reyes is already of Latin descent. So I'm excited for this representation, and I'm excited for these actors because these all so far seem like very talented young people, and I'm hoping they get like multi-picture projects. The only thing I'm really concerned about is what the fuck her Batgirl outfit is gonna look like, because I'm picky with my superhero costumes. I don't like Barbara's current outfit. I don't like Burnside. I think the classic is just, it's good. It works. It worked in the 50s and it works now. The one from the 90s show I think is, perfect. Both of them, the gray one and the black one, they're both great. So yeah, and just maybe give her some functional boots. You can use the boots from Burnside, but I don't like some of the other elements. What else we got coming from WB? Michael B. Jordan working on a Val-Zod project for HBO Max that is separate from the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman project. So that's interesting. There are rumors circulating that he might even be looking to play it. I don't really want to see that per se. I'm gonna be honest here. I like Michael B. Jordan. I like him a lot. I think he's a very talented actor. But I would be interested to see someone new if we're gonna go with this whole Black Superman thing. Val-Zod is I mean, he's an interesting character. I think Calvin Ellis is way more interesting. Val-Zod is fine. I've seen plenty of Photoshop renders of Michael B. Jordan as Val-Zod. I'm like, that's fine, but it's not. I'm not feeling surprised or excited. If it was like, I don't know, Jonathan Majors or some shit, which he's probably not going to make it at DC anytime soon, but who knows? Or some younger unknown actor, maybe Desmond Idris, is that his name? Damson Idris. I don't know, somebody different. I really like Michael B. Jordan. He doesn't have to be in everything. He's not the only black guy in Hollywood. He's also supposed to be producing the Static project, so hire me for that, Michael. I'll gladly do that shit. Grow my hair out longer than it is, shave my face, play a fucking 16-year-old. Oh my god. But yeah, I'd do that Static in a heartbeat. Love me some Static. Speaking of which, Static season 1, very good book. I need to catch up. I'm behind an issue, but if you haven't picked up Static season 1, I recommend it. I know back during DC fandom, I said I was a little iffy. Not exactly a fan of the direction they were going with it, but after actually reading it, I've come around on it. Do we have any more Warner Brothers stuff? I mean, I watched Suicide Squad. I want to have a more in-depth conversation once I can have more of the guys here. But if I kind of want to give my thoughts on it, spoiler filled, Solo. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great movie. If we're talking of James Gunn's projects that I've seen that are like comic book related, I put it on par with Guardians 1, if not better in some regards, because I probably felt more for the villain in Suicide Squad, oddly enough, than I did in Guardians. Plus, James Gunn does what he does best. I think the music in Guardians, if we're comparing them, I think the music in Guardians is better. But I surprisingly, I have probably one more character than Guardians that I'm connected to, so kind of works in his favor. I get a little bit of favoritism. I think everybody was really good. I think it did a good job at kind of setting stakes, showing investment. Having even little bits of dialogue that worked. Yeah, overall, I think it's great. The test of time will really determine whether or not, like, where it sits in terms of ranking. But yeah, I mean, for me, because my favorite DC movie ever is Shazam. So this is either competing or a close second. I'd probably have to give it another watch, which I don't mind doing. I might actually go and see it in theaters. It's that good. If you haven't seen it, I recommend going to see it in theaters. But I think it does a great job with like having stakes. You know, I legitimately was concerned that anyone could bite it. And, you know, even the characters that would wind up being safe by the end of the movie, I did think at different points, I'm like, they might bite it. This might be the last time I see them on screen. Holy shit. And I think that's good. I think going forward, you know, I would love to see Suicide Squad is almost like, I won't say like an anthology series, but you know, you want to change directors every time. I saw somebody online saying Guillermo del Toro should direct the next one, which I think that'd be great. Um, I do agree with full fat films. I disagree with one of the comments he made about the part that he didn't like, in terms of that impact on stakes, which I won't explicitly mention just because spoilers. You know, I said I was doing spoilers, but I'm not. I'll wait till the guys get here. But sue me. It's my show. I can do what I want. Regardless, do you like his idea of like there being a into the Harley verse and having her go cosmic and do weird shit? Honestly, more than anything, I'd love to see Harley's story continue with the Gotham City Sirens movie with Poison Ivy and Catwoman. And maybe Batgirl. Fuck it. Throw Dominican Batgirl in there, you know. We haven't seen Poison Ivy in live action in decades. So bring her back. You know, the Batman will be the first time we've seen Catwoman in over 12 years, and that's not till next year. So it would be 12 years? No. Dark Knight Rises was 2013. So it'll be almost 12 years. It'll be almost 10 years. Yeah, it'll be almost a decade since we've seen Catwoman in live action. I believe outside of Gotham. You fucking nerds. Yeah, do that. Give me a Gotham City Sirens movie. I'd watch the shit out of that. I think that's a better idea than what they attempted to do with Birds of Prey. I know a lot of people like Birds of Prey. I'm not huge on it. But Suicide Squad has the best, as a Harley stan, Suicide Squad has the best Harley interpretation as far as the live action ones go. They've progressively gotten better every single one of her appearances. This is the best one. I know some people are going to be like, no, she's her best in Birds of Prey. I'm like, no, she isn't. Not in my opinion, I don't think so. This one has the right colors, it has the right aesthetic. I was kind of critical of the dress, but again, in context, it matters. Like there's context to it. You know, characterization I think works. The way she kind of plays mind games a little bit, but also her unhingedness. You see a little bit of ethos there with her character. You see growth. So I'm not saying that Birds of Prey wasn't important to her character growth. It very much was, but there's a lot of like there's just aspects just with a little bit with the acting. Again, I don't think it's bad, but like I think the strongest parts of that movie are honestly the action. The casting in that movie was fine, but like the action and the costume design I was not a fan of. That, and it's like an origin story rather than something a little bit more in media res, which I would much rather prefer. Or in media ray, I don't give a shit how it's pronounced. But yeah, Suicide Squad is great. You should go see it. I think it's fantastic. One of these days I'll rewatch Birds of Prey because I kind of left it being like, yeah, it was all right. It was good. I guess. And I don't know. I kind of want to rewatch it and form my own opinion. But Suicide Squad, great. Everybody's great. Acting's great. Viola Davis is a fucking knockout. Idris Elba's a banger. I don't know. Everybody was good. Even the villain, I think was good. The way, the open secret that is. You know, action scenes were damn good. Actually, this probably has one of my favorite action beats in recent memory as far as comic book movies go. Also, side note, this is just a pet peeve of mine. Stop calling, I've probably said this before and I'm gonna say it again till, my face turns blue. Stop calling comic book adaptations superhero movies. This isn't a goddamn superhero movie. There's no superheroes in it. In fact, the one superhero they mentioned was in the fucking ICU. They're comic book adaptations. Deadpool isn't a superhero movie. Fucking Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey barely won. There's superheroes in it, but Harley Quinn is a villain. She's a goddamn villain. An anti-hero if you want to be really hard about it. Deadpool's an anti-hero. It's a comic book adaptation. Ghost World isn't a comic book adaptation. Red, The Losers, Kick-Ass, comic book adaptations. Not everything was people with superpowers in it is a superhero movie. Shit. You know? Damn. Anyways, go see Suicide Squad. It's a great movie. What else we got? Blade has a director. What else news do we got actually? Let's talk about some Disney shit. I'm trying to remember the name of Blade's director. Let me look it up. And while we're talking about that, we also got some other news about. Do we have other news about other things? Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney because they messed up her distribution deal. So that. Huh. Steven Dorff has been blasting Blade for some reason. Bassam Tariq is Marvel's choice to direct Blade, starring Mahershala Ali. I have never heard of this young man, but I'm sure if they picked him to do Blade, he must be a very talented brother. Yeah, never heard of him. Let me see. Bassam Tariq, American film director. He's done a lot of looking like indie movies, which I think that's fun. Let's go indie directors. I mean, that's how we got John Watts. I think he's rather talented. Young guy, 34. He is a TED fellow, co-founded a butcher shop. He did a documentary called These Birds Walk. Yeah, he's a Pakistani director. Oh, his birthday's the day after mine. That's really cool. And he did Mogul Mogwai, co-written with. Oh wow, he did a movie with Riz Ahmed. It's really interesting. I think Riz Ahmed is a rather solidly talented guy. It's a drama. I wonder why they picked him. Good for him. Good for this man. Oh, the movie hasn't even come out yet in America. Oh wow. Huh. But it has glowing reviews. Interesting. Zed is a British Pakistani rapper raised in here. The degenerative autoimmune disease. That's a really interesting premise. I'm gonna have to check that out. So yeah, seems like a lot of yeah, so it's looking like he's in final talks to do Blade, so congrats to this man. Do we have any other news? We do have some Disney news that it's looking like Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield are in talks to do the Haunted Mansion remake. Would it be a remake? No, it'd be a reboot, I guess. From Disney, which that has me very yeah. Justin Simien of Dear White People, which just got its trailer for season 4, is going to be a musical. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Is set to do a Haunted Mansion movie, and it's in talk to have Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield, which right now that's probably more interesting than any other Marvel fucking news we have, because what the fuck is this team up? Mind you, I'm a Justin Simien fan. I love Dear White People. I think the show introduces a lot of interesting conversations, just particularly as somebody that's been a black person at a PWI. I've been trying to highlight those experiences and what he is attempting to do with his characters. In that trailer for season 4 sure is something. I've seen, what was it called? Good Hair, I think. His horror satire from last year that I thought was solid. Bad Hair. Good Hair is the Chris Rock movie. Bad Hair is Justin Simien's project. I think he's a smart guy. He's a creative director, writer, director, producer. I think he's a really interesting talent, especially being like a gay black man in Hollywood. But yeah, it's looking like Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield are in negotiations to do the Haunted Mansion movie, which makes me. That's kind of a triple threat lineup that I am really interested to see where that could possibly go, but it certainly has my attention. Let me think. And I think there's only one other relatively relevant piece of Marvel news. It's that's related to Kraven, of all people. Jodie Turner Smith. So the news is going around that Jodie Turner Smith is set to play Calypso in the Kraven the Hunter solo movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson. And boy, howdy, what a beautiful fucking woman. Good God Almighty. Um, yeah. Uh, I, 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 I don't know what to say. She's gorgeous. And this character is gorgeous. I've probably heard Calypso's name like once or twice. What was she in? Okay, she's done Neon Demon, Lemon. She was in Lemon? Wow. She was Queen and Queen and Slim. Um, she was in Without Remorse, After Yang, White Noise. Yeah, that's, huh, okay. Um, oh no. I haven't seen her in anything. Oh wow, she's gonna be in The Witcher Blood Origin as well as uh as L. Ellie L. Yeah. Isle L. It's L. Um Oh, never mind. No, she isn't. She was supposed to be. But apparently she left. Yeah, I haven't seen her in anything. Wow, that's crazy. Um, I don't know how she is an actress. I don't have an opinion about her. Importing a lot of, you know, importing a lot of actors and actresses, but it's what are you gonna do? My knowledge of Calypso is slim to none, but I'm just excited to see a beautiful black woman play a role. Speaking of beautiful black women, oh, this is the one I almost forgot that does make me excited. This was a piece of Disney news. Um, Michaela Cole, one of my favorite young talents out right now. If you haven't seen Chewing Gum, or especially if you haven't seen I May Destroy You, fucking fantastic show. God, that show was snubbed for so many enemies. It's so fucking good. It's on HBO Max. It's really intense. It's a narrative that has to do with sexual trauma. But she's just a fantastic writer and director, and actress. She's been cast in Black Panther 2 in an undisclosed role. Honestly, if she's the new Black Panther, I'm perfectly fine with it. She's so goddamn good. Jesus Christ. I hope she's not like a bit player. And we've been kind of getting some leaked set photos that are implying that potential spoilers for Black Panther 2, which comes out next year. There are some spoilers implying that T'Challa may also be dead or missing in universe. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, Michaela Cole being cast has me, Jodie Turner-Smith, I'm intrigued to see whatever the hell they're going to do with Calypso. But Michaela Cole, I love Michaela Cole. She's so talented, so amazingly talented. I hope they use her to great effect. Like I said on, I think one of the episodes that Aaron was on, I think Nakia should be the next Black Panther. I said it with my chest. I said it. Shuri's a little too early, and M'Baku has his own kingdom to run. So but I guess we'll see as they continue production. Now, what are some things we can talk about? Oh yeah. Oh God, I almost forgot. There is one last piece of I guess biggish two-ish news. We got another trailer for Venom. Let There Be Carnage. I don't know, y'all. It's looking pretty decent. I'm not disappointed, which is a good starting place. Shriek is in it. Carnage is in it. Carnage actually looks really, really good in the movie. I'll say that. He looks like himself, which, you'd think it'd be hard to mess up, and it is, but the only thing I don't really like is the weird choices Andy Serkis has made Tom Hardy do with his voice, because I thought his performance in the original Venom was actually one of the things that worked in that movie, especially as Venom. But he's doing weird things with his voice that I'm not really a fan of. But everything else, I don't know. The movie looks good. I mean, it can't be worse than the first one. I hope it's not worse than the first one. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where they go. What other stuff do we have to talk about? We got a new trailer for Ghostbusters. Fantastic trailer. Ghostbusters Afterlife looks great. We see Janine. We hear Ray's voice. We know that his bookshop is still present. Oh no, I'm excited for that one too. I'm really curious to see where they're going to go with it, what they're going to do with it. having this kind of new guard, this whole concept of legacy and passing the torch. It looks good. It looks really good, honestly. I trust Ivan Reitman. I've seen a good chunk of his projects. I know he's a very talented, very competent director, so I'm not worried about that much. It's rare you kind of get to see these legacy talents, especially with a property as, I would say, sensitive as Ghostbusters. So it looks good, and I can only hope that it's good. Decent at worst. So I have hope. I have hope for it. Got a trailer for the Chucky TV show. That looks fun. New kid. I don't think we saw Charlie in the trailer. It's like a kid that's being bullied. He gets Chucky, I think, at like a swap meet or something like that. It's like a stupid gift, but he's like a loner, and people are bullying him, and Chucky's encouraging him to get revenge. So I think it's an interesting premise. I really want to check it out. I did enjoy the Child's Play remake. I thought it did something that it didn't feel as lazy as a lot of people I think wanted it to. I thought it was creative in a lot of realms. It kind of remixed the formula by making it a little bit more, adding in that element of like technology and the warning about AI overuse and reliance on devices. I thought was really interesting. They could have done more with it, but so the new show looks good. I'm gonna check it out. I think it's dual airing on Sci-Fi and USA, so I'm interested. I like horror movies. I think Child's Play is a really interesting franchise to mess around with, but the whole licensing thing of how we can have a Child's Play movie and a Chucky movie at the same, a Child's Play movie and a Chucky show at the same time is a very interesting legal loophole, but I'm happy for them. Maybe they'll give us a Hellraiser project next. What else we got on the docket? What else we got? There's a live action Pokemon show coming to Netflix, and I think that kind of speaks for itself. I don't know what else to say about that. So I'm just gonna leave that where it is. I guess two things I can talk about, and then I'll close out the show. Is that Master of the Universe Revelations, the first half of season 1 has been released. A lot of people are kind of mixed on it. I enjoyed it. I watched it with somebody in like a night because the first half I think is only 8 episodes. A lot of people have been complaining about the lack of He-Man. Honestly, my biggest complaint is Teela's fucking haircut and some aspects of like her characterization. Because I really hate her haircut in the show, but it's a haircut I hate in real life, so I'm definitely biased. But I thought it was good. I like the action, I like the animation, I like the story and where it went. I don't mind the empowerment narrative because I think it's a little bit more subtle. I just think that the way they handled Teela's characterization probably could have been a little better. I didn't hate it. It didn't bother me as much as it aggravated so many people that are evidently all these Master of the Universe fans. And I can understand why people felt misled by the marketing. But my relationship to He-Man is that I grew up with the early 2000s version that aired on Toonami, which I hear apparently still holds up pretty well. But so that's good to know. But that's the one that I grew up with, not the classic 80s one. So when I think of He-Man, I think of that one, which is still very stylistic in its own right. But I liked Revelations. I probably need to go back and rewatch it. I do remember hitting the end of, I guess, this half of the season, so I guess that's technically the mid-season finale. I like the ending. I really, really like it. What it does, what it's setting up, full spoilers, I guess now. Skeletor stabs Adam in the middle of turning back into He-Man after they had to already figure out how to bring him back or how to revive him. Getting the power from other former Masters of the Universe and returning the Sword of Power from 2 to 1. I thought the separate designs for the Swords of Power were really dope. I like her best friend. I like how Man-at-Arms returns. I like the use that they have for Mordo, and how he's like connected to the magic, and magic is connected to like all of the universe, and how important that is. But is it Morbo? It's not Morbo. That's Futurama. I can't remember his damn name. But I like him here. His voice isn't annoying. I think he does what he can in terms of like characterization. I think the biggest weakness is probably that there's not like they have, what's his name? Monoclops or Uniclops and like the Techno Cult as sort of a lingering villain or antagonistic force. But without Skeletor as like the primary driver, it does feel slightly hollow in that regard. Again, it doesn't bother me, but I do feel a difference, and I can see some of the areas of complaints. But I thought overall the characters were interesting. I thought Mark Hamill fucking kills it as Skeletor, and having Skeletor now being the wielder of the power of the power sword of power, whatever it's called. Um, I thought that's dope because and seeing what he looks like afterwards, I'm like, that's nuts. I think taking He-Man's name out of the title is it's kind of a Final Fantasy VII remake type of deal. It's like, okay, I know what you were going for here, but you know what I really want from it. So I can see why people are split, but I enjoy the change. I'm curious to see if they're gonna have. I'm guessing the second half is focusing more on Adam healing and returning, and Skeletor's takeover of Eternia, because I think people also think that Adam is dead, but they didn't really confirm it. Granted, he got stabbed in the chest, so that usually kills people. But I'm hoping they didn't kill him just to bring him back and kill him again at the end. I think that'd be pretty whack. But I don't know. I enjoy it. I'm very curious to see how the rest of the season's going to shake out. What are your thoughts? Let me know what your thoughts are on the newest Master of the Universe Revelation. And then, yes. The last thing I wanted to talk about, you can stay or you can go about it. If you know me, if you followed my American Pie series retrospective, you know that entire series is because Darren Barnett plays, I think his name is Eric or some shit. It doesn't matter. He's a character in the American Pie film Girls Rules, which came out in October of last year. The reason I started that retrospective was because he also plays basically almost the same character with more development in the show called Never Have I Ever. So Never Have I Ever just got its second season, which I probably need to do a video about it. And here, let's talk about it. I think it's good. I think I like the first one a little bit better, which is interesting because I feel like everyone in the supporting cast has more to do. The first season has a lot to do with kind of grief. This one, I think, is a bit about transition, if that makes any sense. So, Davy is predominantly over feeling ostracized from her dad in the wake of his death and having moved on, and now she's kind of moving into these new relationships with Ben and with Darren Barnett's character, whose name is escaping me right now. But one of her friends came out as a lesbian, the other one, in navigating. So her storyline is kind of her navigating, how do I balance my identity as being a nerd versus my identity with being queer? And is it possible for me to kind of coexist with these cultures? Which I think that's an interesting premise, because it's like, how do I be myself? What does it mean to be yourself, especially with a community that's supposed to be so accepting, but it also kind of has its own culture to it? And it's like, because, a nerd in a gay community can still be seen as a nerd, and kind of how she gets self-conscious and is putting these unneeded pressures on herself. And then, I can't remember the Asian girl's name, her best friend, her little multi-ethnic clique of friends. She has a boyfriend. She's trying to figure out, if the relationship is healthy, if he's a good guy. They end up, full spoilers, I guess, they end up breaking up by the end of the season. I didn't really care for her boyfriend. I do wish her arc probably had a little bit more to do, and it leaned a little bit more into her, like, because her whole thing is like a kind of relationship with her stepmother in lieu of her actual mother, who showed up for a couple episodes in the first season. So I wish they did a little bit more with that element of that relationship. But of course, the show is about Davy and her relationships with these two boys. So let's see what else happens. There's a new Indian girl. There's a new Indian character named Anissa, who I really like. Anissa, which is part of the point, is that Anissa's supposed to be likable. But I thought her acting was really, really strong, and that's something I'll actually give a little criticism to. The acting in this season feels it feels hammier and more, what's what I'm looking for? Sitcom-y than it did in the previous season, which feels really weird. And it almost makes me want to go back and see it because I'm like, was it always this hammy? Like, I get it, with the premise, it's supposed to be a little silly in some elements. And it's, teenage drama and whatnot. And it's supposed to be a little bit of a lighter show because it's from a teenage perspective. But I don't know, the direct, because these are all talented actors, I think. I think these are all very solid to good actors that they got. Also Common, he could talk paint naked. But I don't know, the direction for their acting felt a little off to me. It felt like they were, instead of saying play this naturally like an adult, they're telling them like play this like someone writing, like an adult writing a teenager, rather than play this like an actual teenager. That's kind of what it's like. So that's the acting is like. It didn't feel like they were teenagers as much as people actively acting like teenagers. Almost like pantomiming something. It felt less natural and was odd to me a lot of times. Same thing for some of the adults too. Her cousin Kamala has her own kind of story arc about independence, and probably something about patriarchy is in there as well as probably racism too within STEM. There's probably something you can unpack about that, but I don't have the energy to go through all of that right now. But I don't know. I think it's solid overall. I think having Ben develop more as his own character was good. I think the direction that they take the characters is good. It's just kind of the execution and some of the acting choices and direction that they gave him is a little it's a little to me. And I kind of want Paxton Hall Yoshida. That was the name of Darren Brandt's character. Yeah, with Paxton, it just kind of, it did retread it a little bit, with it kind of being, will they, won't they, will they, won't they will, they did, oh, now they didn't, but then they go back to, so it's like, and I think they need to bring more. They did a little bit with Paxton's storyline as well, having him kind of, he ends up getting his arm broken and he has to learn to actually be a student rather than relying on just his good looks and his swimming capabilities, which I think that's a good lesson of being like, hey man, you still got to like work hard, because this one thing that you're really talented at, while yes, you're talented, may not be the only option out there for you. So you got to kind of have a backup plan. And him learning to appreciate people with intellect and learning to appreciate people that are not like him and standing up. And Davey, again, kind of retreads a couple things about learning not to be selfish, because like I like Davey, but she also is a big fuck up because she's a teenager. Which it sometimes is almost grating how self-aware she is, but I also recognize that when you're a teenager, that's a thing that happens, and it's irritating to look back as an adult and see how often she will make similar mistakes. But I think I'm just like, but that's also something that happens, because it doesn't feel like she's not learning and growing as a character. So I think that's what makes it tolerable for me. It's just the frequency of it over the course of like 10 episodes, which I don't know what it is. This one did feel like it dragged a little bit in some places, or there might have been a little bit of filler in some spots. Yeah, and I think there were a lot of, and it probably felt like it dragged just because there's a lot of subplot. I feel like they felt just a tiny bit stuck with where they wanted to take the show from Davy's perspective. And I think introducing more elements of her culture and bringing in a competing girl, who I think Anissa's acting was probably the best of the season. Which is a shame, because I thought, what is her name? Trey Ramakrishnan? I'm forgetting her name. Remy? I'm forgetting the actor's name. I just remember her last name. But Davy's actress is usually pretty much on it. She's usually pretty damn on top of it. But Anissa's actress just knocked it out every single scene she was in. I loved her. I loved her character. I thought her writing was better than Davy's a lot of times. I thought her story arc was more interesting than Davy's, about the whole eating disorder thing, especially being a girl of the global diaspora, which is the term I'm going to start using. Don't ask me about that shit. Yeah, I think her arc was more interesting. Her accepting Davy's apology took a lot. It almost made me wish the show was a little bit more focused on Anissa than it was on Davy, but Davy's our lead. So that means it almost seems like the writers kind of cared a little bit more about Anissa and Anissa's feelings than Davy's, because they continue to do things that I think one of the weaknesses is, while they're introducing flaws in Davy that make her unlikable, I don't think they're balancing it out as well with the traits that do make her likable in a considerate way. She always seems to do a lot of things in her own self-interest. And yes, while teenagers can be selfish, they can also be selfless. So I think they need to do a better job of showing how she learns and how she grows and what she learns and what she grows and when she needs to like step aside or stay in and or stay involved and et cetera, and so forth, and understanding boundaries and et cetera. And communication, I think it should do a better job at kind of supporting her instead of making her unlikable, because I don't want to dislike her. And I like the actress. So, overall, not as good as the first season. Where it ends, there's a lot of threads that they can do stuff with. But if they stop it here, I wouldn't be upset. I would have some stuff that I wish they did explore. I kind of want it to at least get a season 3, maybe give it 4, like Atypical, and cut it there, or maybe do a spinoff or something. That could be interesting. But I want them to move past the will they, won't they drama, because I don't like her with Ben, but I don't exactly love her with Paxton either. Honestly, like, I'm very much, I'm pro independence. That was the thing with Insecure. I kind of wanted Issa to be alone. It's another show I have to talk about when that returns. But she got back with Lawrence. So same thing here. Davy got back with Paxton. So we'll see if and where the show goes of them being an open couple now and what that means for the future. But I want Davy to grow. And I want to see her grow, and I want to see her be successful. And I want the writers to give everybody some solid arcs about getting over the grief and standing up for themselves and finding the people that are right for them. Or if they don't have anyone that's right for them, learning how to happily be by yourself. I think that's a good message as well. You don't have to be in a relationship to be satisfied. Because I'm not, and I'm doing mildly okay. Relationship and intimacy crises every now and then. We've whittled them down to like every other day. But that aside, if you have seen anything that I've talked about today, Suicide Squad, or the Chucky trailer, or the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer, or Never Have I Ever, or Master of the Universe Revelations, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, because this is the end of the show. Don't forget to like the show and rate the show and follow the show wherever you go, and let people know about the show. But yeah, leave me some comments. Oh, wait. I just remembered that we have a question. And if you have a question, you can send it down with the hashtag AskAce. You can hit me in my DMs, or you can leave it in the comments of the YouTube video or wherever you find the show. Yeah, we do have a question. We have a question from my boy, Waru Boy, who was an old friend of the show. Let me find it before I close out the show. I almost forgot this too. And I'm debating. Let me see. Do I want to answer this on the show? Probably do. Let's see, because he's a cool ass dude. He's a very cool dude. Here it is. Haha. So he says, don't know if this counts because I don't have Instagram. What changes do you want to see in the upcoming Injustice animated movie since it's adapting Year One? I hope they change Nightwing's death to something else because The Rock was hilarious. Okay. That is something that's coming up. We're getting an Injustice animated movie. Apparently it is an adaptation of Year One. I don't know. You know what? I would want to see, I don't know. I think I just want a direct adaptation of because I played a little of Injustice 2, but not enough of Injustice 1. I vaguely remember the plot. I think what I'd like to see is a change in the character designs. As much as I like the first and second game, some of those character designs are downright fucking atrocious. I know it's NetherRealm Studios that was doing it, but like the same way they kind of remixed stuff for the Mortal Kombat and Scorpion's Revenge, which is also getting a sequel, by the way, which I'm excited for that because that movie was great. But change the character designs. That's what I want to see. I want to see what those adaptations are. I think they released some not trailer footage, but just like concept art or whatever, or in movie aspects. So I'd want to see how they change the character designs. And I guess we're thinking from a story perspective. I don't know if they make this like a series of films where they go through all the years. I guess fleshing out everybody's perspective from each side, and I think I really want to see them give time and attention to the pain that Superman's in and the grief of what happens. Like I think having a proper build up to the actual cataclysmic event that kicks off Injustice, I think will be very, very good narratively. I actually haven't read Injustice Year One. It was on my list of things to read, and then it kept going for like the better part of a decade. I'm like, maybe someday that's not today. So yeah, but thank you for that, Waru. I'll be expecting more questions from you, and I might bring that up to the guys the next time we all talk together. But if you also have a question, you can leave that with the hashtag #AskAce, and I'll answer it on the show. But with that being said, it's time for me to go. So like I said, follow me on my personal Instagram and YouTube at Will the Greatest. Don't forget to follow the show at Atlas Comics Elite on Instagram, ATLAS Comics Elite. And I will see you next time. Have a good one, and be great to one